This is Travis Nelson. Welcome to Written Up. I'm a comedian, and this show is where I take short stories I've written, because I write a lot for stand-up, but sometimes I get tired of writing jokes, and I get an idea for some weird story, so I'll just try to write out weird stories and have fun with them, and I decided to start sharing them with you, and also reading them to friends of mine. So today I am here with my good friend, Vanessa Dawn. Vanessa. She's a member of the comedy group Blunt People, which consists of myself, her, Chase Myers, and Aaron Engel. And she also is the co-host of a YouTube show we have called Funny Sad, where we interview comedians on their tweets. So you guys can check those out. And this is Written Up. The first episode I got drunk with my dad and his friend Roger, and I read It's a New Year Baby to them, which is a story about New Year's. And today I'm actually reading one of the oldest short stories I could find. I actually wrote this in college like 8 years ago. And I found it recently, so I rewrote it. I thought this one would be fun. And illustrations for this one were done by Kelsey Parkhurst. So I'll throw her information up, and you can see that. Enjoy. Vanessa, how you feeling? You ready for the story?
I'm ready for it.
Throw a bite of burger. All right. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. I wake up, sweaty and tightly wrapped in my blanket, as if I've been performing a death roll in my dreams. I live in a single room in a rundown building on the outskirts of Chicago. It's called the North Side Manor, but the sign is missing the N. Sometimes I call it the Orth Side Manor, but never in front of people. I'm not in front of people often. My apartment is on the third floor, just warm enough to be uncomfortable during the day, a little too cold at night. And I look around my room, it's a mess, and standing in the middle of it is Gregor. I don't believe in ghosts, and I'm not crazy, but my apartment is definitely haunted. I was here first. Gregor moved in a few weeks after I did. Sometimes he is sound, but when he wants to be seen, he's a leather-clad, punk rock-looking guy. He shoots me a shit-eating grin and combs a green mohawk. I ignore him. I'm not interested in punk rock. Lately, he's begun to follow me outside of the apartment. It puts me on edge. People see me yelling at him and they think I'm crazy, which is stupid. I tried to talk to my landlord about doing something about it, but he doesn't believe me. Apparently, exorcisms aren't covered in my rental agreement. I walk right through Gregor's body and sort through the clothes that he had strewn about the place overnight. He hates when I ignore him and vanishes in a huff. I can feel him perch on my neck and he whispers into my ear, "Your teeth are shifting." My thumbnail instinctively moves to my front teeth. The left tooth is slowly overtaking the right one. My nail clicks against the overhang with a futile effort to fix the deformity. "You're not gonna fix it like that," says Gregor. He brandishes a pair of phantom pliers. I wish I hadn't lost my retainer. Eventually, he'll get tired of hassling me and go back to flinging my clothes about. I grab my bright blue polo shirt with the Shell gas station logo on it and pull my black slacks out from under my blanket. I head to the door and Gregor makes a point to fling himself wildly against it. His tantrum echoes down the hall. I'm sure I'll get a note from my neighbors about this, but there's no way to explain these things without sounding crazy, so I keep my silence. I walk the 3 blocks to the gas station with Gregor creeping behind me. He whispers things while we walk. I try not to notice. Crack, crack, step. Step on a crack, break your mother's back. Step on a crack, crack. He's not funny, but he thinks he is. When I finally get to the gas station, I relieve Phil from the night shift. Phil is an older guy. I don't know much about him for sure. He has a younger daughter that hates him. He writes a lot of Xena fan fiction, and the owner of the gas station, Imran, tells me he got a math degree from Harvard. But I think he just says that to justify not firing Phil yet. Phil's one of those guys that's too sad to fire. I always smile around Phil, I guess because he's always so depressed. I've seen him take medication before, I don't know what for. I've noticed him not taking them too. I don't know which Phil I like more. Gregor loves Phil, he says they're kindred spirits, and I'm not really sure what that means. Anyways, I take over the cash register, we count up all the money together and complete our shift-changing duties. Gregor whispers numbers in my ear while I count. He doesn't want to be ignored today. Phil always stays about 20 minutes after his shift to complain about everything that happened that previous night. I used to ignore Phil when he complained, but a couple weeks ago a guy died in the bathroom on his shift. Since then I've been trying to be better. The dead guy was a heroin addict. He didn't overdose or anything. Phil said he just got really high and hit his head. Then his girlfriend stopped at the gas station on the way to the hospital so he could take a shit. He passed out on the toilet and died there. Brain aneurysm. Gregor joked that he must have pushed too hard. I think it messed Phil up pretty bad. He had to clean up the mess, and the cops told him he shouldn't have because they usually do that kind of thing, but Phil did it anyway. He is kind of OCD like that. As soon as Phil leaves, Eva sneaks over from the coffee shop across the street. She doesn't like Phil. She says he is weird and that he makes her sad. I say he is sad, and she laughs, which makes me a little sad. She's a really nice girl, really, but she says she doesn't like feeling other people's feelings inside of her. I'll admit she's a bit odd, but she always brings me free coffee and sits with me during the slow hours. She's very pretty. She has a lazy eye, but you wouldn't notice unless she told you. It's a screen door kind of day, isn't it? Says Eva. I nod. She isn't expecting a reply. Most of our conversations are like that. I guess I'm just not as good at talking as she is. I like to listen to her talk. She doesn't talk much around other people, just me. It feels important that I listen. Gregor floats listlessly about the counter while we talk. When there's a lull in the conversation, he makes fun of me. Man, I can't believe she's still talking to you. She must feel really bad for you, dude. It's probably your teeth. My thumbnail clicks against my teeth until Eva stops talking to look at it. I stop abruptly and she smiles, but I can't tell whether it's because I stopped or because I was doing it in the first place. She continues to talk, absent-mindedly folding a piece of paper. Today's Tuesday. It's called that because the god Tyr from Norse mythology. They say he got his hand bitten off by a giant wolf. That's why they call your wrist a wolf joint. Have you ever heard someone call your wrist a wolf joint? I shake my head no. Gregor is making obscene gestures from behind Eva. I really don't know what's gotten into him today. My face flushes with embarrassment, but Eva doesn't notice and continues talking. Yeah, I don't think I have either. I wonder where people say things like that. She stops talking for a moment and makes a concerned face at her folded paper. They say you can only fold a piece of paper 7 times, but I'm stuck at 6. Eva has long red hair and lots of freckles. She likes bees and wants to be a beekeeper or a lavender farmer. I'm not sure what lavender smells like. I think I've probably smelled it before, but I can't put a name to the smell. She says it smells good. I think I had lavender scented soap once. Anyways, she's really nice. Things start to get busy around noon, and Eva has to leave, but she asked me to go to a party at her apartment. I say I'll go. I'm not a people person, but I like to be around them. People help me tune Gregor out. The rest of the day goes by pretty fast. There are consistently people in the store with me, and Gregor behaves himself for the most part. He passes time by slinking around, shifting into different animals, knocking candy off the shelves. I follow along and straighten everything out. I actually don't mind. It gives me something to do. A middle-aged woman comes in and buys 3 miniature wine bottles. She seems kind of embarrassed about it. She comes back 2 hours later with a drunken squint in her blouse unbuttoned so that her cleavage is showing. She flirts with me a bit before leaving with another 3 miniature wine bottles. I'm not that great at flirting. I don't think I'm supposed to flirt on the job anyways. It's unprofessional. Nothing happens until I see the woman again at 5. She has put on a coat and her makeup is smeared. She doesn't look me in the eye this time and leaves with 2 miniature wine bottles. I feel sad for her. Eva would hate it. I hear that some people are more likely to be addicts than others. Some special molecule in their brain makes it happen. I think the wine lady has that molecule. The heroin guy probably did too, but I bet that one's a different molecule. I really hope I don't have one. What if I'm your molecule? Hiss Gregor. I ignore him, but the hiss lingers. Phil comes in about 20 past 7. He complains about his daughter, and I listen. I always feel bad for his daughter. She never seems to do anything wrong, but she and Phil don't get along. I wonder what happened to her mother. I wonder if there's a depression molecule. There seems to be a molecule for everything. I go straight back to the apartment after work, and Gregor begins tearing the place up enthusiastically. He's in his punk rock outfit again, mock stage diving off my bed into the pile of clothes on my floor. He must know that I'm not staying for long. He seems agitated. He hisses angrily as He hisses angrily as I change into my only clean pair of jeans and my favorite jacket, which I notice that he has torn. I yell at him, I call him a dick, and he seems to quiet down. I hate yelling him, it makes me feel crazy. I think my neighbors are scared of me, and I hate that. I sit on my bed and flip through the phone book. Gregor sits directly in front of me and half-heartedly flips the pages back. I tell him that if he was real, I would have killed him by now. I always say that. I say it like a joke, but I've never meant anything more in my life. As it turns out, Eva only lives a couple blocks away from me. I leave a little late for the party. It's very cold outside and dark. The inside of my nostrils hurt when the wind blows. I ring the doorbell, but nobody answers the door. Maybe they can't hear me. I ring the doorbell again, and the door seal cracks as someone pushes it open, just enough to send a sliver of light across my old sneakers. I walk in to see Eva glide back down the hallway in wool socks, her long red hair accented against a blue floral dress. I add my sneakers to the pile by the door, mostly leather dress shoes and high heels. Noise from the living room echoes against the white stucco walls of the small apartment, and I reluctantly walk towards it. I regret not wearing thicker socks. My feet are already going numb and against the cold hardwood floor. The living room is square. 3 couches line the walls, filled with well-dressed young people drinking wine. I don't know anyone, so I quickly take a seat next to Eva. Someone hands me a drink. The conversation seems intellectual, and I'm too tired to do anything except feel self-conscious about wearing jeans and a torn jacket to what I didn't know was a formal event. I quietly survey my surroundings. There are half-deflated balloons taped to the ceiling. Each one has a name written on it. "What are those for?" I ask. Everyone laughs except for Eva. She smiles and looks down at her feet. A large guy on my left leans toward me, a little too far, and says, "Eva got bored over the summer, so she made a balloon for every one of her friends. Now they're all deflated, but she won't take them down." "Well, they're all still my friends," said Eva. "The people, not the balloons." Everyone laughs again. Someone hands me another drink. Eva places her warm, wool-clad left foot over my right foot and applies pressure. Someone asks me a question. I can't think of an answer, so I just smile. Eva doesn't really ever say anything, but everyone seems to talk directly to her. She occasionally lets out a chirping laugh or deadpans an absurd thought, something about bumblebees. Everyone laughs when she speaks. More drinks. I let myself relax into the hum of the conversation, smiling, feeling a little too drunk. I realize how long it's been since I've seen Gregor. He must have gotten lost on the way here. That's how I know he's a ghost. If he was a molecule in my head, he probably wouldn't go away. I can feel the gentle pressure of Eva against my shoulder. Molecule. I almost jump out of my seat, spilling the drink on the sleeve of my jacket. "What?" The room goes quiet and looks at me. "Are you okay?" asks Eva. I let out a forced laugh and try not to look crazy. "Oh, never mind." A few people laugh. I act like I'm not still hearing things. Molecule. Molecule. Gregor peeks around the corner wearing a crooked party hat next to his mohawk. "You thought you got rid of me? Maybe you really are crazy." The talking starts back up, drowning him out. I thumb my teeth. Hours pass and all the guests leave. Eva asked if I would like to stay the night, and I said yes. We walked back down to the cold hallway to her room. She apologized for putting her foot over mine and pressing down, but says that she thought it would be comforting. I suppose it was. I sit on her bed and stare at the tapestry-covered walls while she takes a shower. Gregor sits next to me. I ask him to please leave me alone. He shrugs and vanishes. The room smells like some sort of herbal something, probably lavender. She comes back wearing nothing but a towel. I take a shower next. Gregor was sitting on the toilet pretending to use it. "You just couldn't live without me, could you?" I hope he wasn't there while Eva was showering. When I get back to Eva's room, she's laying on her bed, naked except for her wool knit socks. She's got a lot of muscles. Her nudity doesn't surprise me. She seems more comfortable, and the comfort makes me feel more confident. She asks if I want to have sex, and we do. After we finish, we both crawl into her bed. Her pillowcases are old t-shirts, damp and clean from her showered hair. We stay up late talking. She tells me that her lazy eye gives her hallucinations because it doesn't sync up with her other eye. She says for the last year she has thought she might be dead. She says she feels that she watches other people's lives but doesn't actually live. She says that occasionally her hallucinations cause her to lose track of time and where she is. She says she hasn't told anyone this before. I tell her I don't know what to say. She laughs because she doesn't either. I think she's self-conscious now because I've been quiet. "Do you think I'm crazy?" she asks. I take a deep breath. "Do you believe in ghosts?" She looks at me funny. "I mean, I don't. I don't, but I think I'm being haunted because there's this ghost and his name is Gregor and he lives in my apartment and he follows me around, but no one else can see him. She just stares, her mouth open a little. Are you making fun of me? I don't think I've ever seen her look that way. She pulls away from me and a vacuum of air fills the void, cold where her wet hair had been against me. I pull her close and try to kiss her, but she doesn't kiss back. The comfort is gone. I think you should go home, she says. I try to think of a way to reason with her, but I decide she's probably right. I quickly dress and leave. I shiver, half from the cold and half from an empty, creeping fear. Something doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm too drunk. The earth is rolling towards me as I walk. I can hear Gregor laughing behind me. I knew you'd blow it. I start to run, leaving Gregor behind. I run past my apartment and all the way to the gas station. The drunken lady from earlier is slumped on the sidewalk a few feet from the entrance, weeping and surrounded in vomit. I walk past and into the gas station. Phil isn't at the register. I wander into the back room and I find Phil hunched over on a stool, his head in his hands. He looks up at me with watery, bloodshot eyes and gets embarrassed, rubbing his face with his hands and clearing his throat. What are you doing here? It's only 4. I tell him about the woman in front of the store. Yeah, I know. She tried to buy more booze and I had to kick her out. That's my problem. This is my shift. Why are you even here? Why don't you go somewhere else? I shrug. He laughs, stops, knocks over a box of potato chips and collapses back down on the stool. That's your problem. You're messed up. You can't care about anyone. Nobody cares about anyone anymore. I stand there, not sure what to do, my thumb clicking against my teeth. His head is in his hands, but I can still tell he's crying. I look back into the store and see Gregor standing at the register. He waves. I slowly make my exit from the back room. From behind me, Phil mutters, "What if I did it? Do you care about that? Does anyone care about that?" Gregor thumbs through yesterday's paper. I grab the mop bucket and wheel it outside. The woman is gone. I start mopping up her mess. Maybe her molecule is in there, somewhere. Maybe she got lucky and her body finally rejected it onto the sidewalk. I kind of doubt it. Mostly looks like macaroni. Phil walks out to his car, an old grayish-blue Toyota Corolla. He opens the door to the driver's seat dramatically and waits for me to look at him. I'm going home. If you see Imran, tell him I'm not coming back. He waits for a moment. I can tell he wants me to say something. I thumb my teeth. Hey, Phil? He looks expectantly. Yeah? Never mind. Phil takes a quick 2 steps towards me and punches me in the face, right on the cheekbone. I don't look at him, I look down. There's blood on my shirt and my jacket. I try to wipe it and it smears. When I look up, Phil is getting back into his car, pausing to stare at me for a second. I see Gregor in the passenger seat. Phil says, "Sorry." I say sorry, but I'm not sure what for. He pulls out of the gas station lot and I shiver, the blood turning from warm to cold on my chin. I say, "What a night," out loud, but nobody answers. All right, that was Molecule. Ugh.
Man.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be a little longer. Like.
Oh, really?
I did, but.
It was about 20 minutes. I'm not sure where we actually wound up at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Phil was about to kill himself.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Kind of lined it up that way.
Juicy.
Yeah.
But maybe part 2. Maybe part 2.
Yeah. Maybe he pulls the trigger in part 2. Jesus.
He might just fucking wreck the car.
Yeah. Maybe he wrecks the car.
Gregor's gonna be in there like, hey bro, just end it, bro.
Yeah. Jesus.
Over. That was dark.
Yeah, it was pretty dark, but I mean the story was kind of dark.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So that was a weird one. I hope you liked it. Stay tuned. I got a bunch more coming. More illustrations, more stories. Some of them are going to be funnier. Some of them are going to be a lot weirder. I got a lot of monster stories because I like writing about that kind of thing. So yeah, thanks for checking it out.